Most people assume that modern roofs, packed with membranes, foams and engineered vents, must dry faster than anything built centuries ago. That assumption is wrong. Medieval roofs routinely dried their rafters faster and more reliably than many modern systems, even in cold, wet climates. They did it without fans, chemicals or plastic barriers. If you care about long-term durability, moisture control, and understanding how old builders solved problems we're still struggling with, subscribe to Thermal Vault right now, because what you're about to hear overturns a lot of modern building dogma. The reason medieval roofs dried so efficiently starts with a truth modern construction often ignores. Moisture will always enter a roof. Rain finds a way, snow melts upward, warm air carries vapour, and wood itself contains water. Medieval builders didn't fight this reality. They designed roofs that assumed wetness would happen and focused instead on how quickly the structure could dry afterward. Speed of drying, not total waterproofing, was the real goal. Why medieval roofs treated airflow as the primary defence against rot is the first lesson worth understanding. Medieval roof assemblies were never airtight. They were intentionally leaky to air while remaining effective against bulk water. Gaps between boards, open eaves, smoke holes, ridge openings, and loosely layered materials created constant air movement. Warm air from inside the building rose naturally into the roof space, pulling cooler air in behind it. This continuous exchange stripped moisture from rafters before fungi had time to take hold. In contrast, modern roofs often trap humid air behind vapour barriers, allowing condensation to sit directly on timber for weeks. Now, how roof pitch accelerated drying more than any modern membrane is the second overlooked factor. You see, medieval roofs were steep not just for snow shedding, but also for drying speed. A steep slope ensures water leaves the structure quickly, reducing soak time. More importantly, steep roofs create stronger thermal convection. Warm air rises faster along steep surfaces, increasing airflow across rafters. Modern low-slope roofs slow this process, allowing moisture to linger. If you want to apply this today, even modestly increasing pitch or eliminating shallow dead zones near valleys can significantly improve drying performance. Why medieval builders avoided flat contact between wood and water explains another key advantage. Rafters were rarely buried against solid decking the way modern trusses are pressed against plywood. Instead, boards were spaced, overlapped, or laid in multiple thin layers. This created air channels directly against the wood. When moisture formed, air could reach it from multiple sides. Modern, solid sheathing traps water between layers, turning rafters into moisture sponges. A practical modern adaptation is using ventilated battens, or creating a deliberate air gap between rafters and roof decking. How material choice made medieval rafters shed moisture faster than modern lumber is a detail many miss. Medieval builders favoured slow-grown timber with dense heartwood and straight grain. These woods absorb moisture more slowly and release it faster than fast-grown modern lumber. Beams were split rather than sawn, preserving natural grain paths that allow water to move out of the wood. Today, choosing solid sawn lumber over-engineered products in critical roof areas and orienting grain correctly can noticeably improve drying behavior. Now, why medieval roofs dried from both sides instead of trapping moisture is, well, another crucial insight. You see, modern roofs often rely on just one drying direction, usually outward, and block inward drying entirely. Medieval roofs, interestingly, allowed moisture to escape upward through roofing materials and downward into the building interior. Heat from hearths and human activity wasn't sealed away. It was, in fact, used as a sort of drying engine. In modern homes, controlled interior drying can be reintroduced by, avoiding overuse of impermeable barriers and allowing roof assemblies to breathe in at least one direction. How medieval venting worked continuously rather than intermittently explains, really, their long-term success. There were no on-off vents, no mechanical systems that failed when power was lost. Ventilation was constant because it relied on physics, not devices. Ridge gaps, open gables, and porous roofing materials ensured airflow day and night. Now, modern homeowners can, replicate this by making sure there's uninterrupted soffit-to-ridge airflow, keeping insulation from blocking vents, and really avoiding sealed roof cavities unless absolutely necessary. Why medieval builders monitored roofs visually instead of hiding them is another reason rot rarely advanced far. Roof structures were often visible from inside the building. Darkening wood, surface mould, or dampness was noticed early, Problems were corrected before structural damage occurred. Modern ceilings, on the other hand, hide roof failures until repair becomes expensive. Regular attic inspections and moisture monitoring are, the modern equivalents of this ancient practice, and should be treated as essential maintenance, not just optional extras. What all of this proves is that medieval roofs didn't dry faster by accident. They dried faster because, honestly, every design choice prioritized airflow, heat movement, drainage, and material behavior. Modern systems often focus too narrowly on blocking water instead of managing it. When moisture inevitably enters, those systems struggle to recover. If this breakdown helped you see roofs through a sharper historical and technical lens, do subscribe to Thermal Vault for more deep dives into ancient building logic that, quite frankly, still outperforms modern shortcuts. Share this video with builders, restorers, and anyone serious about long-term durability, because understanding how medieval roofs dried their rafters may be the difference between structures that fail quietly and those that endure for centuries.